All of these bold statements drawn up by influencers trying to influence your lifestyle by instilling fear is probably something you are fed up with. You may believe they have good intentions, but their delivery is off-putting. You probably don't believe the message because the messenger spends most of his or her time showing off a meal, a car, or the latest edition of swimwear, but occasionally drops a gem that you know they don't believe in. So take matters into your own hands and join us while we explore the gut microbiome and its impact on mental health.
The field of medicine has been around for thousands of years. Knowledge of how to fight off foreign invaders and the pathology of diseases is constantly being updated. Hundreds of thousands of antibiotics have been made to combat illnesses, but the effects of lots of these antibiotics can have adverse effects on other aspects of the human body that should be reviewed when trying to understand diseases. Have you ever considered what these antibiotics could be doing to the microbial species that exist inside of you? Probably not. You see, the field of medicine has been overlooking a particular aspect of the internal human ecosystem known as the gut microbiota, and we're here to bring some awareness.
When you think of bacteria, you probably think about these miniature creatures that got sharp teeth and a mean mug, and whenever something feels off with your stomach, bacteria is the easiest thing to blame, since it is the less understood.
But what if I told you that many bacteria help us with our metabolic functions, keep our immune system strong, and help us fight off foreign invaders? The gut microbiome specifically helps us digest material that may not be digested normally and can help us generate nutrients that are vital for our bodies.
Okay, so what about mental health? In recent years, mental health issues have been prevalent in the news, and an article posted by CNN in 2019 stated that about 46 million people in the United States deal with some sort of mental illness every year. That is a crazy amount of people, and maybe one of those 46 million are you or your loved ones.
Mental health, however, doesn't mean that a person has a mental illness. Mental health can be referred to as an increasing amount of stress that is affecting functioning in society or in daily tasks. Mental illness, however, refers to the disorders or diseases that have a biological determinant. You may have a family member who has Alzheimer's and has a hard time processing information or showing signs of dementia. The mental illness would be Alzheimer's, and the mental illness impacts the overall mental health.
What if these two things are connected? What if the gut microbiome affects mental illnesses? There's a company called Holobiome that's in a race to create a drug that can manipulate the gut microbiome to treat mental illnesses like Alzheimer's, autism, and anxiety. There are many companies that are taking a step forward in treating mental illnesses through manipulating the gut microbiome because treatments now don't work, and some of these treatments even have unwanted side effects.
The human gut microbiota is heavily underrepresented in medical research, so the mechanisms it uses to influence the human immune and nervous system still leave more to be desired. With the recent surge of popularity in the gut microbiome, research over the last few decades have had some interesting discoveries regarding mental health and neurological disease pathology.
If you are still curious as to how the microbiota may affect the mental health or neurological diseases, then look no further. There has been data that the dysbiosis of the gut microbiome can lead to disease progression, maintenance, and immune system activation. Dysbiosis is the shifting of bacterial species existing in your gut. Changing in bacterial population size can stem from diet and even antibiotics. This is critical because the bacteria in our gut have been linked to our vagus nerve. Researchers from the Holobiome company found that neurotransmitter gamma aminobutyric acid is released by the Bacteroides microbes in our guts. The Bacteroides are the microbes that send signals to the vagus nerve. People with fewer Bacteroides were found to have traits with severe depression due to decreased GABA concentrations. Increased amounts of GABA have been found to reduce anxiety in rats. Researchers at Holobiome have been able to identify 30 GABA-producing bacteria that exist in the human gut microbiota in hopes of testing people to combat mental illnesses like depression and even insomnia.
It is impressive that there is already a company working on developing treatments by using gut microbes and their influence on neurotransmitter concentrations in the body to combat mental illnesses like depression. More studies about which operational taxonomic units that can affect our mental states and nervous systems will lead to more breakthroughs in the field of medicine.
That is right, we do need more studies because the current lack of comprehensive research on topics like Alzheimer's disease can leave people susceptible to compromised nervous systems in later stages of life, Currently, there are no preventative treatments for Alzheimer's disease, but it is understood that dysbiosis of the gut microbiome can lead to Alzheimer's disease progression. Shifts in the microbiome's general population can contribute to amyloid deposition. The use of fecal microbiota samples as sources of insight into the host gut microbiome have been used to infect rodent test subjects with gut microbiomes from the original host. The behavior of the rodents were observed to see the effect the new microbiome caused in them. It has been observed that the rodents will act similar to the disease affecting the host, such as depression and abnormal behaviors. Specifically, increases in firmicutes and bacteroidetes in mice models have shown an increase in amyloid beta plaque buildup. The accumulation increases the inflammatory microglia that induce T helper 1 cells to infiltrate and cause neuroinflammation, preventing neurons from communicating effectively. This is what causes the synaptic degeneration related to Alzheimer's disease. The GV971 oligosaccharide has been able to modify the gut microbiome, causing a reduction in amyloid beta plaques, microglia, and T helper 1 cells. The form of gut restoration and other strategies need to be studied for the development of treatments to combat Alzheimer's disease progression and Alzheimer's disease pathology. The imbalance of populations in the gut microbiome can also interfere with the production of neurotransmitters, which have a direct effect on the mental well-being of an individual. The reestablishment of the diversity and population size in the gut microbiome can be a source of prevention or treatment for Alzheimer's disease and other mental disorders, including schizophrenia and depression.
You're probably wondering, wow, this is incredible. How exactly are these companies and researchers gathering this microbial data? Well, the stable method of cultivating microbial data stems from gathering fecal samples. Researchers have been providing their patients and sample groups with stool collection kits. DNA is extracted from the fecal matters and undergoes 16S rRNA gene sequencing to determine gut microbial communities. This is how over 900 operational taxonomic units for dominant microbial phyla in the gut were discovered in patients with dementia due to AD. Of those phyla, Firmicutes and Bacteroidetes made up over 78%.
Researchers are also using fecal microbiota to compare profiles among healthy and compromised sample subjects. The studies of fecal microbial composition among patients with relapsing remitting multiple sclerosis supports that dysbiosis of the gut microbiome also leads to multiple sclerosis. This shows that there is a common trend in changes to our gut microbiomes, mental state health, and pathology of neurological diseases. Fecal matter transplant has shown to restore the microbiome of bacteria-free rats who are on antibiotics and protect them from paralysis by shutting off viral pathways to the central nervous system. With all these findings discovered about the gut microbiome and how it can impact our lives, there still is not enough being done in this respective field. During the year 2018, only one study had investigated the relationship between gut bacteria and their clinical characteristics. How are we supposed to assist patients and combat disease pathology if more people are not knowledgeable about their own gut microbiome?
If we start to make some noise about how the microbiome in our guts can influence our central nervous system and our mental states, then you as well as the rest of the general public can begin making changes in your life to maintain a healthy mental state and even combat neurological diseases. These changes can be simple, such as having better or more diverse eating habits. A daily probiotic would also help to maintain the natural flora of the body and keep a diverse and healthy gut microbiome. These simple changes would greatly increase an individual's mental and physical health while adding longevity to their life. We have armed you with the knowledge of current research. It may be few, but with your help, we can increase the awareness of the importance of the gut microbiome.
Man, this beat is crazy.